discussed before. Also, I'm not sure if this is a real thing on the, but it rattles. The microphone on the 750 rattles, and I'm not sure. Hang on, let me just change my camera settings. But let me just. There we go. Okay, so on the 755s, the cable itself, it feels more premium. This feels like a generic cable. Like, not gonna lie, but the fact you spend $5 ish on either of these, this cable feels like it's worth more than $5. This cable feels like it's worth less than $5. Subtle difference, but basically this feels cheap, like a stereotypical okay grade earphone. This cable feels a lot nicer, a little bit more high end, but at the same time neither of them are like notable. Now on the fakes, the strain relief on the actual IEM part itself is deformed. It's bent here, and this one is also exactly the same, only more like it was curve bent rather than like it's more of a curve than, whereas on this it's directly like, these are fine, there's no deformation to it. What's the other issue? I don't have the tag on my real ones, but this is what the fake tag looks like. Apparently there's not much difference anymore in the tags. Yeah, oh, hang on. And then, sorry. So that's what the fake tag looks like. I'm actually going to take it off because it does irritate me. And I pulled that bit off but didn't freaking. But anyway, so if you take off the ear tips on the real thing, the vents are completely black. So if I as you can see, that's like that, whereas this one has what some people have called a white dot in the middle, which it does look more so on the camera, but to me, well, actually no, I was probably looking at the other side. Okay, never mind, yeah, it is a white dot in the middle, but I would still say the vent isn't exactly black like on this one. So if you look, the difference is quite visible. So the ear tips are also slightly different, although I actually prefer the cheap ear tips for some reason. I like the rubberized texture. But onto that though, when I put the fakes in my ears, they do not seal properly at all. They feel like they're forced there, whereas these actually seal like proper IEMs, the block out sound. I refer to all in-ears as IEMs at this point, by the way. Apologies if that's incorrect. It probably is for ones like this, which are just standard in-ear earphones. But when I put these in my ears, blocks out sound, there's, you know, what you would expect, like, you've got something in your ear, it's going to block out, like, air and stuff. When I put these in my ears, it's there. It doesn't stay. It feels like it's just in the way. and I can't describe it really. You would have to pick up a fake intentionally, but it annoys me that everyone on the internet just says, oh, look at the tag, oh, look at the grill on the look at the vent on the nozzle, but they're not enough alone, because a lot of people are like, another big thing about these is that these are out of phase, which means that when you listen to music, both sides have the wave the opposite ways round, because they're soldered with the plus and the minus the wrong way round on one side. It's not the same on both sides, basically. So when you listen to on a normal pair of earphones, your music will sound like it's actually in the middle to the side, whereas with out of phase, with these, it sounds like there's two separate sound sources that you can pinpoint, and panning doesn't exactly feel like it's virtually like left or right. It sounds more like there's a volume level either side, and it literally does not create an imaging. It doesn't create imaging correctly. Some people can't tell the difference very well. There are a lot of YouTube videos, if you search up phase test. They say they're for speakers, some of them, but like all of them give you a good idea of like what you're looking for. They all work. You know, just listen to one of those and you'll be able to tell. These are pretty much the same, except this one's got the fourth one even, because microphone. So you have there's two different standards: ground, mic, left, right. Can't remember which way around left and right are, but and on other ones it's mic, ground, left, right. Whereas this is just ground, left, right. Not sure what way around left and right are. I don't really care, to be honest with you. It's important when you solder them though. Although, if you're modding earphones, you've already got the left and right channels, so you're fine. I'm going to be modding these at a later date, changing this to MMCX. Not going to mod these are going in the trash. Like, honestly, I paid less than £4 for these. I'm not sure whether there's any point in getting the seller to refund me. I think that would be a bit of a dick move as well. Although on the guy's listing it actually says, be aware of fakes of this product. Well, you just sold me a fake. Are you warning me about your product? It's hypocritical, but then again, I suppose it's a marketing tactic so that people feel like, oh, these aren't going to be fake, yet they are. Regardless, real, fake. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention on the fakes. Let me just change the focus again. That's a little bit too. So, on these two separate pieces, you can rotate them. If you put enough force on them, you can rotate the two separate sides, which is not a good idea because you could like easily damage the wires inside and break the soldering. But yeah, it's the same on both sides. This one's worse. On the real thing, you cannot do that, or at least nowhere near as easily. I physically cannot do that. I'm not strong enough. Both sides are just as sturdy. But yeah. The sound of these have a lot of treble extension. These have a bit of sparkle. These sound a lot bassier. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, the sound signature on these is relatively okay for the price. Like, for the price point, even though they're fakes, the actual sound signature isn't as bad as some things I've heard. Although, it's definitely not as good as some things I've heard for the same price. Like, I would rather get KZ ATRs for that price, which I don't have anymore, but at some point I'm going to buy another pair and review them. just to compare them to what I have now, because back in the day those were really good to me. But yeah, these are still, you know, top of the range for budget. Still, I recommend these. A while ago I really didn't like them. They grew on me over time. I didn't like the sound signature. I found it a little bit too warm and muddy. If you seal these vents. Oh, also a lot of people will probably believe what I used to believe. If because I was gonna say, if you seal these vents, you will reduce the bass. Now, it wasn't long ago that I actually learned this, but I used to think that sealing any vents on any IEM would increase the bass, because obviously you're trapping the pressure inside. So, but that only seems to happen on front vents. If you seal a vent on the front, around here, on an IEM, it can increase the bass, whereas on the back, sealing the vents on the back will reduce the bass, because the vents are there to increase the vibration by the dynamic driver. So that's a little fun fact for you. But yeah, so if you find these too bassy, just seal the vents. When I sealed the vents, I thought these actually sound kind of good. They're a little bit on the cold side though. So, although that said, I did seal everything around the seam. I sealed this as well, everything I could, and it ended up sounding cold. So it's quite effective at reducing the bass. These are known for having a lot of sub bass. Like, if I recall correctly, the graph is something like so you've got like a graph, you've got all the frequencies along the bottom here, so you've got bass, treble, mids, so it's like, if I recall correctly, the graph was something like this. That's not quite accurate, because I'm trying to do this upside down, because as you can see, the way my keyboard is up, yeah, anyway, but yeah, so it's kind of like a curve down, up, you've got the dip, a little dip on the peak here, goes down, up again, and back down. So that seems to be a similar kind of frequency response for IEMs that target the Harman curve, which the other IEM I've got that does that is the KZZSN. So these and the KZZSN have a similar-ish sound, but these do it better by a long shot. I really like the ZSN though, for like personal reasons, just because like I like other things about them, like the cable, etc. But yeah, if you pick a pair of these, I would recommend picking a pair of these up and modding them. Costs about £5, £5, where like it doesn't even cost £5, so like it's about $5 in America for these. Then you just need some MMCX connectors, like these. And basically remove the cables from it, and you can place in the connectors where the cable originally was. You have to increase the size of the hole where the strain relief was, because the connectors are slightly too big to go in. So, but yeah, there are modding guides on these everywhere over the internet, and if you search up MMCX MH755, you will most likely see the picture, the guide picture that I'm about to put on the screen right now as I'm talking, because yeah, I'll just quickly find that for you. So if I just go to images after searching that, it's here. And now if I there you go. Oh, sorry. So that's what the guide looks like. So you have the step 1, which is cutting the wires, step 2, blah blah blah. So I'll put a link in the description to this maybe, but if you can't find this anywhere, it's on the screen now. Just pause the video, read it, screenshot it, whatever. But I'm gonna take it off the screen now. So yeah, that's these are an interesting pair of earphones. These, on the other hand, these fakes, these are fucking trash. Like, don't. Okay, if you buy these, buy the white ones with green or orange ear tips, because there is a much lower chance of you picking up fakes. In fact, I've not heard of fakes of these. I've heard of every single pair of these being fake though. So by all means pick these up. By no means pick these up. Fucking avoid these at all costs. They are trash. If you do pick these up though, you need to mod them, because this cable is not long enough for a phone. If you're a normie like me, I'm a audio normie. I care about like sound shit. I know a bit about sound. I'm not that big into audio players and amplifiers and stuff though, so I use my phone to play music. This cable would have been perfect. It's a horrible cable. Both of these are not the best cable in the world, but either way, at least this one would reach my pocket. But no, these are fakes, so avoid. In fact, for a moment I thought the Sony logo wasn't even. I'm gonna have a quick look. Yeah, on the real thing, the Sony logo, density of the text is thicker, but that's not something you would be able to tell without a comparison right next to. So yeah, the things I went over in this video should help you be able to pinpoint whether your MH755 is real or not, or MH750. They're basically the same model. Or potentially the MH750 never actually existed and it was all a Chinese ploy to make an earphone that is just bad. Don't know, don't care. Happy buying.